Welcome to the Judgment Free Zone. You've downloaded the Alcohol Free Marriage Podcast, episode 16 for July 18th, 2022.
Now adjust the volume control so that the sound can be heard in all parts of the room.
Recorded live from the cornfields of Central Illinois, you're listening to the Alcohol Free Marriage Podcast with Matt and Amy. Come and learn and share a journey with two former craft beer enthusiasts who went from daily drinkers to teetotalers and basically never lost their love for their life together.
Hey, a freak show!
Well, hello, childrens. Welcome back to your freak show. That is the Alcohol Free Marriage Podcast. Lovely to see you all again. I'm Matt, along with the always lovely Coach Amy. How are you, my love? All tanned up?
Yeah, got a little sun. Woohoo, the vacation.
Yes, the little lake time. Nobody got terribly burned or anything. We had a few little instances.
Well, we had one person who got burned.
That's true. When you take the, if you're watching on YouTube, if you take the spray and just go, it doesn't really work so well.
I'm talking about your daughter's sunburn retinas.
Oh, yeah. FYI, kids. Not alcohol related, but did you know you can sunburn your eyeballs?
Yes, we know now.
Yes.
They tell you not to look at the sun because I was always told you'll go blind.
Probably still.
But I guess
true.
that would be because you're probably burning your retinas.
Yeah. But the lake intensifies the sun, and apparently, you can sunburn your eyeballs, and you'll see like halos around things. So, especially if you're young, because that also can mean you have cataracts or glaucoma. But she's only 17, so
or something else that could be, of course, leading to cancer.
Yes, if you know how it goes. If you Google anything, you've got cancer. So
yeah, eventually it's gonna say you're gonna see that word.
But pro tip: wear polarized sunglasses when you're on the lake. That helps.
And if you do have contacts,
wear your contacts.
They said wear old. Save a couple pairs of old contacts.
And then use those on the lake.
And then just throw them away.
Because apparently contacts have UV filtering protection. I don't know. News to me.
I know. It was a little...
things you didn't expect to learn on vacation.
A little scary, but I will say that we had an extremely great experience with a eye doctor down around Table Rock Lake.
Kimberlane City, if you want to ever need an eye doctor. But hey, we're back in the cornfields. We have internet again because, vacation internet.
Oh, my God.
It must be like an unwritten law that vacation internet's supposed to be bad, which I'm okay with because it forces you to not use your device, not be on the stuff.
True.
But it also makes it hard to even communicate with your family. But if you want
to do like things that you just need to do anyways, because for me, I was still doing some work stuff, and that
makes it tough.
Was a little challenging.
I could barely send text messages. I had to go on the deck and hold my hand up in the air and
the good news is in the room we had, in the main area,
you had internet. Yes, because you had some coaching stuff to do. And
on your computer, on your laptop, on your phone.
Nope.
Anywhere was hit and miss.
I think they do that on purpose.
I think you're right. I'm okay with that too. But
and I wrote things on your notes that I didn't write on mine.
Oh, you have upcoming interviews?
Yes. Amy, tell me about our upcoming interviews. This week is just you and I, but last week was interview. Next week is interview. Who is next week's interview?
Very excited. We will be welcoming Stephanie and Mark Brislin. They are actually, I believe, from San Diego. So
it'd be more fun if they're from Brisbane, the Brislins from Brisbane. Anyway.
But yeah, we're going to be interviewing them as well.
And after that will be Jane from Amethyst, I believe.
Yes.
All right. So stay tuned, kids.
And then after that, we've got another one. Yeah. Well, and I didn't tell you, we have somebody local who is actually going to, who let me know that,
just when I got down the Zoom interview stuff, she throws it in
They would be happy to be with us. I don't know. Yeah, that'll be weird. We'll have to ask, do you want to do the Zoom thing or you want to come be live in the studio?
Studio, if you're watching the video.
Would you like to come into our home down to the pit?
Want to come sit at Amy's desk in our basement? And this is actually the prettiest background we have down here. If you turn around, it's no. So
we'll have to do a bit behind the scenes.
No, nobody wants to see behind these scenes.
You know what? Oddly, people do.
All right, Coach Amy, before we move on, do you have any coaching things you would like to, coaching, not pointers, but coaching items?
Well, we have
Your new freebie?
Our new freebie, which is the 5 o'clock somewhere alcohol-free edition. 7 tips for taking a break from alcohol.
We will link that in the show notes.
Yes. And so there's 7 tips for taking a break. You're going to get some information, things that helped us when we each took our 30-day break. The importance of your why, and how keeping the ritual and replacing the ingredients works. And there's more involved in that as well. And if you would like that, you just need to you just email me.
Well, we'll provide the link in the show notes. And I think
Amy.
You give her your email address.
Yep,
and
we'll
then,
send it to you.
And we'll send it to you.
Amy at joyontheotherside.com. Why didn't we buy the other one that had the coaching there?
I think we did, but your email doesn't point there. So joyontheotherside.com.
Yes.
There you go. You got some
And
feedback
actually,
there.
if you're going to do it would really help us. I think we need to we need to just kill the feedback one, because it goes to you and then you send it to me. And if you have any questions, I actually check my email.
You realize our listeners don't care about our back office discussions. But yes, we can discuss that off podcast, off air.
All right. Anyways,
okay,
we're moving right along.
You put that thing together. I love your 5 o'clock.
We came up with that because that was what we always said. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yes.
We still do say that.
We do.
But now it's the alcohol-free edition.
Alcohol-free edition. Speaking of the alcohol-free edition, Coach Amy, what is your drink of the week straight from vacation?
Oh my gosh. I had
a pleasant surprise.
Oh, yes. It was so exciting.
Let's set the frame though. Our vacation is down in the Ozarks, which if you don't know, the Ozarks is sort of it's Branson, it's kind of the part of Missouri that's sort of known for being country-ish, I guess, but it's a lot of boating and partying and drinking and not really a
very
sober,
generally
sober environment.
Which it was very interesting. The alcohol-free options have arrived.
We started to take everything and have
even at the little.
There was 2 or 3
little,
NA beers. The market.
Mm-hmm. They actually had a couple options as well, so I thought that was really cool. But actually, on the property, they have it's called Thirsty's Cocktail Bar, and their options were
They had mocktails.
They had mocktails, and one of them was the Lavender Mule, and it was lavender syrup, ginger beer, and fresh lemon juice. It was very good.
And I sampled our son's girlfriend's alcoholic version, and I'm telling you, if you put that NA wine, that guy Giesling, whatever, that NA wine,
just a little bit.
If you put about a shot of that in there, it would taste exactly the same.
No, it was, but it was really good just the way it was.
They had
it was
3 mocktails and Heineken Zero.
Yeah.
Which I was stunned. I'm like, they won't have any NA stuff.
I didn't even figure they would have it there.
No.
Not at all.
I mean, it's just not, you wouldn't think, but they did.
Yeah, so...
But as we discussed, it's not necessarily cheaper. You pay...
Nope.
You pay alcohol prices, but it's still...
It was very nice.
It was.
It was nice to be able to go, oh, you know what? Yeah, I would like to have a little fancy little
and a fancy drink. And
so it was fun. It was, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, my drink of the week is, if you're watching the video, you can see this lovely berryish color. This is a limited release from Athletic Brewing, Blackberry Bearliner Weisse style. Or Bearliner? Sorry, some beer person out there.
I can't read it. You have it over there. Oh.
Bear, is it Bearliner Weisse? It's on the notes too.
Or
anyway.
Bearliner?
Don't worry. It's in the show notes and linked. But anyway,
nice.
It's a limited. It's very tasty.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Have I had this?
You have not. It just came while we were gone.
My gosh, you're so selfish.
You already had a drink of the week, so I got to use this first.
But I don't have a drink of the week to sip.
Here,
have a sip.
Sap of that. There you go.
Have a sap of
but
that.
Anyway, yeah, check Athletic Brewing's pretty solid NA beers if you haven't ever tried them. But
is that like a sour?
Kind of ish, but not really. It's not a sour. It's got a
nice tang.
It's got a tang, but not like a hardcore sour. So, anywho, if you're down with,
very good.
If you're familiar with a Berliner, I don't know.
I just like the packaging too.
When I think I've heard of every beer in the world.
The packaging.
The label.
The label looks kind of like it's a small world.
It does. It does look like a small world. You're right.
Just a little bit different. Little colors and stuff.
Very small world. See what I did there?
There you go.
Oh, Coach Amy, what are you going to say?
I will say it was so nice. It was so nice to be back in our own bed last night. Just to be able to, we're walking into, we're going into the vacationing sober. And I don't care. I just never sleep great.
You like your own pillow.
Yeah.
Vacation pillows.
And now we have brand new pillows, which I wish we would have taken on vacation because we took our old pillows and decided to
jettison them.
We'll take these pillows and we'll just get rid of them. They're horrible. They were
pillows, kids.
So bad.
They were bad.
And now we have new pillows coming home.
But Amy, let's discuss vacationing sober.
Amy, what you gonna do? Like that song, don't you?
All right. Well, these are random tips, I think, and you have to endorse them. But
endorse them.
The first one I think is important because this is very true. There's only one first time, right? So it's that first time having to be around people and explain why you're not drinking, or they understand that you're not drinking.
Yeah. Because this was my third.
It was my second.
And how was it for you? Because like you just said, the first time, like last year, how was that?
I think the first time was a little harder just because, especially depending on where you're vacationing, I guess, but the lake life, the boat life, like that is like every song about boating has got alcohol in it practically, right? So, but personally, we've always taken our NA stuff, our drinks and all that. I think going prepared was the biggest part of it. And we're mainly around our family. They already know we don't drink. So the very
first time, it was really challenging.
Because you were like the Lone Ranger of the group.
I was like, oh my gosh, you were cutting back.
Right.
But you were still in vacation mode.
Right.
So you still didn't go full on like you had in the past. But it was really hard because every time, oh, what do you want to have? Do you want this? No, I don't. I've got my own. And but I will say
any options weren't available on property.
No.
The stores wouldn't have had anything.
Oh, not down there at all. Mm-hmm. But the nice thing is when you think about it on a scale of like 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest. That first time was probably about right there at an 8, 9. Right. Because you're just like, oh my gosh. I mean, maybe it could have been a 10, but I don't really feel like it. The anticipation was really hard, but I kept visualizing the whole and mentally rehearsing the whole vacation. Like, okay, well, what are you going to do if you go on the boat? And we had prepared, just like you said, being prepared and having everything all set up and aligned. It was very challenging, but going in with curiosity, it was a great learning experience. And then like last year, I think it dropped down. It was like 3. This year, 0, nothing.
In my second year, I was like, I think, and probably most people, like, if you get used to not drinking at home and you go on vacation, the natural reaction is unwind, relax, have a drink. But
that's how you relax. That's what we've been told forever.
But I think
that's how you vacation.
Well, right. But being, I had totally lost my thoughts. So
Sorry.
That's all right. We'll move on from there. I don't remember what I was going to say. Being, no, it's completely
gone. It's a new experience.
Right.
I mean, you're going in. So every time you do something new, we still have new things happening.
And I'm going to jump ahead to
I'm
going to skip one because I think one thing that has helped us is that planning and researching what you're drinking. So, you find items that are surprising, like we didn't know we were going to have NA choices on property. Cool. But we also brought items with us because we don't know what we're going to be getting into when we get there, right? So if you can, bring things from home so you at least have that. And then if there's additional things, that's just gravy on top, right?
Yeah. I agree. Mm-hmm.
So, and I think one thing year over year, like I used more NA beer probably last year than this year because I just generally don't drink as much of it anymore. I'm like, a couple, whatever. But I did have an interesting effect. So those of you who drink wine or drank wine, if you're familiar with the, what do we call that? The winery effect. Where you go to a winery and you have a glass of wine, and we've had this. Oh, this is really good. And you take it, buy a bottle, and go home, and you're like, this is
not really good.
This is bad. But I think we reviewed it, the gin and tonic, little fake gin and tonic can things. I took those. I'm like, that's easy to take on the boat, whatever. And they're okay. Like, I don't really drink them much around here because they're pricey and they're kind of meh. Had it on the boat. It was like the reverse. I'm like, this is really good. So now it's like one of my new favorite boat drinks. Don't really drink them at home, but awesome on the boat.
I think it's a great vacation.
What, drink?
Option.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they come in the cans and then you have it. It's already pre-mixed up for you.
And they have a mule. They have a Moscow Mule version of that too.
And you feel, I don't know. It's still.
It's grown up flavors.
Yeah.
Well, plus everything is, when you're on the boat, everybody's drinking out of tumblers. You can't see what's in it anyway. So it's not like you aren't being seen with a can or whatever. So.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I still, what I just absolutely love waking up on vacation is not being hungover.
Yeah.
The night before.
From the night before. Right.
The next day. I mean, that is huge. Like being able to not having to worry about being dehydrated the next day. Going, all right.
Or spend half your vacation morning just trying to get yourself going again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, nope, let's go.
Well, and one of our tips is, plan a morning activity. So if you plan that you're going to do something, now I didn't really plan, Amy plans for me. We're going to go. I'm like, okay, well, I'm awake anyway, but.
Well, you were good sport. And I didn't make you go for a walk every day.
Yeah, but if you plan like, hey, we're going to go do something, like whatever it is, whatever activity, whether it's scuba diving or skiing or whatever you're doing, if you plan a morning thing, you're less likely in the evening to overindulge if you're still drinking. Or not indulge, because you're like, what, I need to get up early. So that can help, even if you still are drinking, to kind of maybe tamp that a little bit.
Yeah. And I want to say, even up at the pool, like, because they didn't have the NA options at the pool bar, which was fine.
Well, actually, it was very funny because the guy looked at me like I had three heads. Like, no, why would you even ask this question?
Yeah. Well, that's just not the norm.
No.
I mean,
I think it's funny. You can tell how it's all run differently, right? Because the pool had all alcohol, no NA options, but you go over to the truck area and there's all these mocktails and NA beer. And so clearly not all run by the same people.
Yeah. But it was good because it was you and I, for an afternoon little treat, we ended up going and having the ice cream. And it was so good.
Yeah.
It really was, and guess what? I wasn't dehydrated.
Well, and if you want to try and stay sober on a trip, go sober for a day or so. And that first evening, what helps is you start seeing the people who are doing what you used to do, kind of way drunk and like people getting off the boat, practically falling off the boat. Oh. This whole group of like 5 or 6 who appear to be having a quote unquote good time, but are completely drunk and not obnoxious, but a little annoying. And when you wake up in the morning that they're waking up not feeling near as good as you are. Like, I just knew, oh, those people are having a bad morning, right? And and you start thinking, is that night before of fun worth half the next day that you're going to burn out and
or the
not
whole
use?
next day,
or the whole next day?
Because I remember on a couple of vacations where it was the whole next day that I was feeling not great, right, but still, trudging along.
Yeah. Drinking a bunch of water before I got and dehydrated myself, more alcohol.
Spending, money to go and see things and do experiences and not getting near the enjoyment out of those experiences because I was so hungover.
Right. Exactly. It's like, well, I'm here. Or
going to an amusement park. We didn't do that this time, but being hungover from the night before, going to an amusement park.
You don't want to jump on a roller coaster?
But when you have kids.
Right.
And they're wanting to do something and they're exciting and then you're, excited about everything and then you're sitting there going, oh, yes, I'm excited. Okay. Yeah. All right, calm down. Don't do this. And you're snapping at your kids.
Right.
About their excitement. It's just messed up.
Yeah. It's like we said.
And I'm not judging anything. I'm just, for me, I've been there and I've done that. And I look back and I go, if I could do a do-over, there are so many times that I would do a do-over on those things.
Right. And another tip, communicate. Communicate with your fellow travelers that you're going to not drink. Like, say that ahead of time so you're not showing up.
Yeah, that was something I would say that first year. I was so new in my sobriety.
And you didn't.
And it was hard.
Well, and you didn't have a sober, other than our kids who weren't drinking, but you didn't have and one of our other things is bring a sober companion. Like, you didn't have another sober person to kind of be like, hey, I'm not drinking either. And, it helps kind of not shine the light on you as well as make you feel like, I have somebody who I can not drink with.
And I think it was probably easier for you last year because I wasn't drinking.
Well, I've said many times, if I would never have been the first one to take the move.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done the whole, I'm not going to drink, but you still drink. Like, I wouldn't. I've been like, no, I'm good.
And I think the other thing I want to just say is, especially since we were on a lake vacation and you're renting boats and everything, when we were down there was an accident.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There was 2 15-year-old girls who were ran over by a boat.
By a pontoon boat.
And the pontoon boat crashed into one of the
cliff walls.
One of the cliffs. And one girl was killed.
Yep.
And they didn't say it, but on that newscast, they were interviewing the police and everything, and they were all talking about you need to be sober
if you're
driving a boat.
Yep.
And there are so many people out, and you just know. You did it. I'm not.
No, we didn't get hammered, but we'd have some. Yeah. But those people getting off that boat the other night, there was not a sober driver in that group. And
that group had little kids, and
I've seen even the worst boat driver out there not be bad enough to floor it, run over 2 people, and crash into a cliff.
That just breaks my heart.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is, there's a lot of rental boats.
Oh yeah.
And I run a boat too. And my problem is I don't know how much experience the rental boat drivers have, right? I've done it for 20 years. I've owned boats.
And you went and got your license too.
Right.
You actually went through a class,
so I'm
boat safety.
Fairly experienced, right? And I don't know what these other people are. Clearly some of these people have no clue, but you have all these people on rental boats drinking beer or drinking whatever, so you're getting intoxicated, driving a rental boat. You're not used to driving a boat, period. You're not used to how they react, and accidents happen.
Yeah. And you know what?
So they didn't say that was a rental boat, but I'll bet you $1 it was.
Yeah, they didn't. But it's just, you just have to be very aware.
Right. Another thing is, and you do this all the time, but, empower yourself and know your triggers, right? So we've been talking about boats, right? Like getting on the boat, boating was a big trigger. It's like, we're going to the boat, grab a cooler, put a beer in the cooler, so I put an NA beer in there, so that sort of, helps me. But that's a huge thing, right? Like if you're going in this blind and don't bring any of your, maybe bring a Quit Lit book or a podcast, like you bring nothing and just hope. I don't know if that works, does it?
No. No. You're going, if you want to white knuckle it, but who wants to do that?
Well, right.
Go in and be prepared. On my walk, every morning I still listen to Quit Lit and Sober podcasts. I still do. I probably listen to some sort of sober podcast 3 times a week, at least.
And if we talk too slow, you can always speed it up 1.5 times, 2 times.
I listen to, a lot of people really fast, but
gets you a lot more content.
You get a lot of information. It just helps keep you motivated.
Right. And I think the challenge with the triggers on vacation, you know what your triggers are at home, and you've maybe, let's say you've been sober for a few weeks or months or whatever. You've gotten used to those. You know what those triggers are. Mm-hmm. Vacation is a whole new, rare set of triggers that you really mainly only experience during that weekend or that week time frame, right? And especially if it's, like our trip where it's years of quote unquote tradition, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we always did. trying to unravel all that, it's like, well, how do I do that? And then I think what I've realized is it wasn't as big of a component as I thought it was. Right? I mean, the drinking time is still there and was there, but it wasn't as necessary because it's such a fun location. We're having so much fun. You don't really need it.
Oh, okay. I wasn't really sure. I mean, we did spend a lot of time drinking. Right. I would say we really did. Now but there's this difference of, I mean, it's total freedom. We needed something. I don't remember what night it was. A couple nights in, we needed something. It's 8:00. We jump in the car
and go get it.
Oh, there's none of this.
Before, it'd been like, we have to get
let's wait till tomorrow. No, let's go do it now so that we can start tomorrow off fresh. We don't have to worry about getting up earlier and going. I mean, so I think for me that, and to be driving in the hills of Missouri,
right?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And you see somebody on the side of the road walking. I'm like, that guy we saw, I'm like, oh man, this guy cannot be sober who's walking along the side of the road.
It is sketch driving during the day, let alone in the dark. And you add alcohol, and it's just, I'm scared because I don't think everybody I'm passing is probably sober. And I'm like, there's no room for error on these roads. So
no, there really isn't at all.
Even like, with Maggie with her eyes, if that had been a boating scenario, may have been drinking on the boat. Oh, now we got to go to an eye doctor. You have those emergencies that come up, and if everybody's drunk, who's going to take care of them? I guess you call an ambulance, I suppose. But, but just that, like you're saying, I can run an errand now, get it done. And in the morning, I'm ready to go. I've already got my stuff. I don't have to go run errands in the morning hungover.
And just think about the irritation level that we didn't have with her, with having that. Not just because you don't have that anxiety already in you.
Right.
So you can handle the situation so much calmer.
Right.
So that, for me, I think was the big thing. It's like, okay.
And you weren't about cutting into your drinking time.
No, it's like, you know what? Okay, this is just the way it is. We're going to go and do this.
And I think you're more open to different new or whatever activities because you're not looking for only activities that would involve alcohol. Like, if we do this, then I can drink doing that, or I can drink right after that, or, just like, we're just going to go do stuff, right? Like, we went to the museum. I wasn't considering, does the museum sell alcohol? Did I say it right? Alcohol. But
alcohol. America.
Those thoughts, especially this year, obviously, didn't go through my mind of, like, priming my activity list around the ability to drink, or
it's secondary, or not even secondary. It's far down on the list. It's like, no, I'm going to go do this.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about, drinking to get because I'm on vacation. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to an all-inclusive when we go. I have because I've had people go, is this going to be a trigger? Because when you would go to an all-inclusive, all right, well, I'm going to drink as much as I possibly can.
Get my money's worth.
But now I think about it and I'm like, no. I mean, what? No, I want to go and I want to be able to do all of the extra things that we didn't do.
Well, because we were drinking or were
drunk because we're like, oh no, well, they won't be back in time. We won't be back in time for this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm
too drunk,
not.
I'm ready to go snorkeling. So.
Yes. And I'm just like, I just don't want to live my life that way now.
Right.
I mean, it's really, for me, it's been empowering and it's just been total freedom.
Right. I think even the second time I still see people like doing things, but I think the longer you don't drink, the more you realize the alcohol isn't necessarily like, oh, look at all floating in the water, drinking their beers, having fun. I'm like, you can still float in the water, drink something different than other beer, and still have fun and do like. I realize the alcohol is not necessarily enabling that activity, and if I need the alcohol to do the activity, especially on vacation, why am I doing it? It should be fun anyway.
Yeah, and it does. You can pick people out where you're like, oh man. Oh, you need to stop. Nope. Don't go and get another one. Don't go get that fourth one.
Well, what was the joke I heard about? A little kid with a sunburn just means, that's just happened. Like you see kids with sunburns, they forgot to put more on. Mom and dad forgot to put it on them. When you see an adult with a sunburn, it means they were probably drinking.
Yeah, and there were some burns.
Oh my gosh, were there some
I
burns.
mean, there were some really bad sunburns. And you're just like, ooh, that hurts.
So see, look at it that way. You won't get you won't get a sunburn, but you may be more cognizant to remember to put on sunscreen. And maybe you're not in the sun as much. I don't know. You're not out
Maybe
there.
you're not numb.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Because when you're numb, you're not feeling your skin burning. I'm toasting. It's like that lobster or what the frog in the pot.
Oh, when you're
gonna
boil one.
Yeah, when you're gonna boil
turn up a little bit at a time.
But anyways, I think people just remember to go in to it with an open mind. And, even I've heard people talk about it, like, okay, if you're thinking, oh, it's not going to be as good, wait a couple days into your vacation. Right. Wait a couple days and see. Go, you know what? If in 3 days this really sucks and I'm going to have a drink, well, then have one.
And I think that's how exactly I went into it the first time. Well, and this naked mind approach of experimenting is sort of that same way of, you don't ever say never say never. You just, and so I think I went on vacation the same way. I'm like, well, if I hear and I feel like that's it, then I will. And I just didn't. And I think once you do it enough times, and I always, even this trip, it's like, if I wanted to, I could. I tried our son's girlfriend's drink to compare the taste. I mean, I had a sip
and that's the other thing. There's a lot of people who would not agree with that approach.
That doesn't count.
Having a taste of something.
Right.
That is such a limiting belief. And I know for some people that probably is a complete trigger.
Right. Well, some people don't want to do NA beer. That's a trigger for them. I mean, everybody has their triggers.
I look at that's just a substance. And I've done so much work on that I just don't care.
Right.
I mean, that substance no longer controls my life.
Well, and I found it really interesting too, because in the experiment of your drink, I was able to taste that and be like, hey, if we do this, it'll taste the same. And like kind of almost I don't drink them, but I want to taste to see like, okay, what's that taste like? What's missing? Almost like a mixologist would do.
For me?
Right. What?
It's missing the ethanol. That I don't really want in my body anymore. I mean, when you get to an age, as my eye doctor always reminds me, when you get to a certain age, these things start to happen. Nope, you know what? I don't want to put that in my body anymore.
Well, and you save money. I mean, drinks are expensive.
Yeah, and if you buy it was fun to get to go somewhere and actually order off the menu.
Right.
But still being able to take what we have.
Right.
I could have taken stuff for mixed drinks and that, and I just didn't because it just wasn't that big of a deal.
Right. It's just good to have the option if you're, especially if you're trying your first trip and you don't. For me personally, a lot of it wasn't necessarily the cravings. It was more of being sure I felt like I fit in.
True.
And for me personally, taking NA beers, I feel like I fit in. I look more like I fit in. And I don't care if people, obviously I don't care if people know I don't drink, but I still want to feel like I'm part of the group and I'm participating in the same activity. I just don't want the alcohol. And so I think these drinks and those mocktails on the menu help you feel like you're experiencing vacation the same way, some of the same flavors and tastes and not experiencing the alcohol.
Perfect.
And then you wake up early in the morning.
And you wake up and
Coach Amy makes you go for a walk.
And you go for a walk up those hills. And I want to just say, I'm so glad now to be back to the flat cornfields.
Those are fun for a while. But.
They are. They're a great workout, but man, holy cow.
Well, kids, that's your travel tips for the week of whatever this week is, July 18th.
Yes.
We hope you enjoy your vacation this summer. We will be back next week with some more interviews.
Coach, we're really excited about that. And don't forget, if you want to sign up
for the 5 o'clock, what's it called? 5 o'clock?
Our 5 o'clock somewhere, the alcohol-free edition.
There you go. We'll put the link in the show notes or email Amy at joyontheotherside.com.
Yes.
And she'll hook you up.
And if you have any other questions or anything, or if you have any comments, just reach out
like,
to us.
Subscribe, all that cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Should have said at the beginning, but you all know that's the deal. So
That's the deal.
that's the deal. All right, Coach Amy, let's put the rest of our laundry away. But all right, kids, I am Matt, along with Coach Amy, wishing you peace and love from the cornfields, and we are out.